Hey guys, and welcome to Griffo's Retro Gaming with me, Alex Griffo Griffiths. And today I'm going to be doing a video which I've been wanting to do for quite a while. And it's all about my Game Boy collection. I'm a big Game Boy fan. Absolutely wonderful system, and it still is today. There's some games on there that have just stood the test of time, and Pokemon being one of them. I mean, I could just load up Pokemon Yellow and just play it whenever, really. I don't care about how the graphics look compared to what we have these days. It's just a wonderful system which has got a lot of charm and nostalgia, I guess, for me personally. I understand there's going to be people watching this that aren't as old and didn't grow up with it, but it's just a wonderful system that deserves more focus than what it gets these days. People just seem to collect it because they used to have one back in the day, but very few of them seem to play it and talk about the games as they're playing them today, really. I suppose, yeah, you can play them on newer systems like the 3DS, but the charm of just holding a proper Game Boy and trying to struggle for light, it's something that, for me, has just stood the test of time, and I absolutely love the system. My only issue with it is the bloody cost of the games and the systems. I guess some of them are really rare and expensive, but yeah, some of the games are stupid money, absolutely stupid money, and it's not uncommon to be paying upwards of £20 for a lot of the Game Boy back catalogue, unfortunately. But I'll go through what I've got today. I'll start off with a bit of a retrospective on the system, and because I haven't just got the one Game Boy console, I've got a couple, and one that I've modded myself to get it how I want for my daughter. So yeah, I'll go through those, and then I'll go on to, I've got a few loose games, and I've got quite a few boxed games. Okay then, so released in 1989, the original Game Boy, which everyone will know, looked a lot like that. In fact, it looked exactly like that. And it was quite primitive, really. It's known as a DMG because it uses a dot matrix screen. And yeah, it's very simple. The buttons on there are designed to look and feel like the NES controller. So you've only got the two buttons and a D-pad, and then select and start. The display was not fantastic. Obviously, there's no backlight, and that was one of the major issues back in the day. The Game Gear, the Sega Game Gear, did have a light and a colour screen as well, so in that respect it was a lot better, but it used to just drain batteries like nobody's business. This was better in that respect. This took 4 AA's. I say it's better. The Game Gear took 6, so and it used to just guzzle the juice like you would not believe. But yeah, other than that, it was very primitive. The screen was not the best, like I say, dot matrix screen. It had 4 shades of green, and it had a lot of ghosting as well, which for most games was okay, but when you was playing games like Mario and a few others, you noticed it a lot, and it wasn't really, it looked very primitive, and it did take a lot away from the game. However, they did revise the model and released a Game Boy Pocket, which is like that. And this is my favourite of all the systems. It's wonderful. So the major advantage, it still didn't have the light though. Japan did get one exactly the same with a light, except I think the system was just a tad bigger just because it housed the light, and it is known as the Game Boy Light. Yeah, we got the Pocket, so it's the same but without the light. And the major advantage is it took 2 AAA batteries, and the battery life on it was it was great considering you only had 2 smaller batteries. It was really, really good. The screen was much better as well. So it was a monochrome screen. It was black and white. And it took away the ghosting issue that you had on the original Game Boy. So yeah, if you're going to get an original Game Boy, then out of all of them, this is the one. Unless you can get the light from Japan. But yeah, this is definitely the one. It's so thin. It really does fit in your pocket. It's just a joy. It really is good, and I can't praise that enough. It's so much better than the original clunky thing. But I know a lot of people will have nostalgia for that. I got my first Game Boy as well in 1992, Christmas. And it was from Boots. My mum had left the sticker on. Sorry, Santa had left the sticker on. And he'd got it from Boots. It was packaged with Tetris, as, you know, most Game Boys were. And I got Dr. Mario, which is a game that, well, I love Tetris. I really like Tetris. It's up there in my favourite games. Dr. Mario is another really good game. It's another favourite of mine. And again, it's a puzzle game, but I have got it. I'll talk about that in a moment. And Hyperload Runner, which I believe was a game off one of the... was it on the NES? Yeah, I'm not sure. It was on another system anyway. That's another sad note. The Game Boy did have a lot of the same games as the NES, much like the Game Gear had Master System games. This was playing NES games as well. Not all the time. It did have an awful lot of exclusives, but there was quite a few ports over to the Game Boy. Then after that, well, there was a load of coloured ones, you know, different colours and things like that. But after that was the Game Boy Color. Now, I've incorporated it into this video. It is a standalone system, but the graphics are exactly the same. It's just coloured in. I don't know many games that look amazingly better on the Game Boy Color. So yeah, I've thrown the Game Boy Color into this video. It's not a system that's, in my opinion, fantastic library-wise. I think there's a lot of dross. There's some fantastic games, don't get me wrong. You got the Pokemon games, and there was some Zelda games as well, which were, in my opinion, very good. Made by Capcom though. And yeah, a lot of shovelware. And that's... I have more nostalgia for the original Game Boy than the Game Boy Color. But the Game Boy Color came in a lot of colours as well. Shell colours, different designs, and it was the first time really that I saw anything like this, and where we get our like console variants. There was a few original Game Boy ones. I remember the Manchester United one, but it just seemed to explode on the Game Boy Color. And one I have is the Pokemon one. And this is... it's my favourite of the lot. I got this off eBay not so long back, and this is just for display purposes. I've got the original back on it as well, which is really hard to come by. The backs, they don't seem to reproduce either, so getting a blue one to match the back is an absolute nightmare. The Nintendo didn't do a blue, or not this shade of blue, Game Boy Color. The nearest you get to it is the grape, and that's more purpley, and it stands out when you put it on the back if you haven't got the blue battery pack there. Again, it took... oh no, this was double A's, but yeah, it took 2. And the battery life on it was apparently 30 hours. Not sure about that. Obviously, it depends on what batteries you use in the power of them, but yeah, absolutely phenomenal battery life on it. And yeah, it's just a nice looking system. You've got Pikachu there. The power lights his cheek like in the cartoons and whatnot. But I got that recently, a few years ago. And what I had before that was another one. But I got this off one of the Facebook groups when Pokemon was massive, so I did pay for it, unfortunately. And it was battered, absolutely battered. The screen was scratched beyond recognition. The back was missing, which I'll go into in a minute, the battery compartment. It was grubby as anything. And yeah, it was a labour of love. I've cleaned it up. I've put a new screen on it, so it's slightly different to the original. As you can see, the Pokeball in the top where the power button is, the power display. And the back is a yellow one. I really don't like it when people put the purple on. It just doesn't look right. But the yellow goes with the front, so I don't know. Me personally, I prefer that. It just seems more natural. And that's what I did. Like I say, a labour of love. It was in such a state. I cleaned it up. The springs were all corroded and all over the place as well. I had to replace those, which I did. And yeah, this is the one I play on. This is, if I was to get rid of one of the two Game Boy Colors, it'd be the original one. This it's so close to my heart because I put so much time and effort and love into it, if you like, and never want to get rid of this. It's my favourite. So yeah, the Game Boy Color, it had its own games, which were the obviously colour, but one other advantage was if you was playing it was backwards compatible. So if you was playing with an original Game Boy game, you had colour palettes you could use and choose. So you could make Kirby a different colour if you wanted from pink. In fact, I think Mega Man is pink by default instead of blue, so you have to change his colour. Unless you like Mega Man as pink, I don't know. And then I got into modding them, and I haven't put a light on this one. You can put lights on them and things like that to make it a lot better. But this might look a bit garish to you. For some reason, I just love pink consoles. I'm not a pink fan. I don't like pink stuff, but pink gaming consoles, for some reason, I just seem to like. But I've done this for my daughter in mind, and whether she'll play it, I think it'll just be, 3DS it is at the minute. It'll no doubt go to the Switch, but I've done an original with a pink shell, yellow buttons, and a Pokemon screen there. And the screen has got a grey surround, which goes with a grey start and select buttons. And then the yellow directional and A and B buttons go with Pikachu and Pichu on the screen there. Oh no, sorry, it's just Pikachu. There's Jigglypuff and Togepi, in case you didn't see it or can't make it out. But what's interesting about this is I've put NES controller buttons on it. So you've got the concaved A and B buttons, which I think are more comfortable than the original Game Boy ones, which are the rise up convexed in it, I think, yeah. And it's an NES controller D-pad, which is not very comfy. It's very sharp, and that was a bit of a mistake. But I do like the buttons. But if you're wanting to do this sort of thing, bear that in mind. And they also brought out a ton of different accessories. Now, I haven't got a lot. I'm not overly interested. But one thing I have got is the Game Boy camera. And it's a lot of fun. Only I haven't got the actual printer. I nearly bought one at Doncaster off Craig's Here Again. If you're watching, Craig, if you still have it, I may be interested if you're prepared to post it out. Yeah, get in touch if you still have it and you're willing to post it. I can always PayPal you. It was in nice condition and everything. I don't know why I didn't pick it up at the event, because I have been looking for one. But yeah, that's a lot of fun. You can do different sort of things with your pictures once you've took them. You can change certain things, add things and stuff like that. So yeah, a bit of fun. They're not great pictures, obviously, but like I say, it's fun. So one other thing I should mention is something that a lot of people, for some reason, don't seem to know about. Now, on each of the cartridges, I don't know if you can see there, you have a little box and it tells you whether it's a 1-player and 2-player game. That's just where my finger is there. Now, some of them, like Donkey Kong, it says Super Game Boy Pack. And if you put those into a Super Game Boy from the Super Nintendo, you get extra features and things like that. So, for the most part, they're just borders that you get, or the pre-coloured, so the proper colour palettes come up. However, on Space Invaders, you get a full game on the cartridge, which is a SNES standard Space Invaders game. It is fantastic looking, and it blows my mind to think that they can put an SNES game onto a Game Boy cartridge. It's I do apologise. It's absolutely mind blowing. So if you have a few Game Boy cartridges and the Super Game Boy and you wasn't aware of that, try it out. It's yeah, a lot of fun seeing what you can do, what you can find from these cartridges. Okay, so I think that's enough for a little retrospective there. So these are in no particular order, and I'll start with Mario and Yoshi, which is a puzzle game, and this was given to me actually by Lee, my friend Lee. I still don't know whether it's Houghton or Houghton. I need to ask him. But this is a puzzle game, and I believe in the US it's Yoshi's Cookie. So one I've just shown you is Batman, Return of the Joker. And this is a platform game, a Batman platform game. And I've still got the price sticker on it. I found it in cash converters for $5.99. It's roughly 10 quid in CEX, but if you was to get it boxed, it's a lot more. Next up is 4 games which I have, and they are just Game Boy personified really, and that's the Pokemon titles. So I've got Red, Blue, Yellow and Silver. Now, I did have all these boxed. In fact, I have got Pokemon Blue boxed. I swapped that with someone for a controller, so yeah, that's one of the box games. So I used to collect Pokemon. I had all the games boxed in wonderful condition, but I had to sell, unfortunately, due to illness. So I'm happy to just have the cartridge only at the moment, but it is something I want to try and get back. Especially Pokemon Crystal, which is my favourite of the lot on the original Game Boys. Next up is Double Dragon. This was £3, I think, not a lot. And it's a good little conversion, really. Everything's there. It just runs a little bit slower than the I'll put my teeth in. The NES version. So just bear that in mind. But generally, it's fun. It is fun. And Double Dragon on the go, what's not to like? So next up is a game that's I got from CEX for £3, and that's Wizards and Warriors Fortress of Fear. And it's number Wizards and Warriors X or 10. It could be the 10th in the series, but I'm not sure. Anyway, it's the US version is this, and that's something to bear in mind with the Game Boys, the Region 3. So it doesn't matter whether you get Japanese or US or PAL, they'll all work. So yeah, Fortress of Fear, it's a platforming game. It's alright, it's not bad at all. Next up, Desert Strike, and I got this from Cash Converters on the same day as Batman, £4. And it's alright, it's not a bad conversion. The console ones are a lot better, obviously, but yeah, helicopter in a desert landscape, you got to blow up the enemy buildings, fuel supplies, stuff like that, and rescue any hostages, really. Simple as that, but it's alright. There's a Jungle Strike and, what was the other one? Urban Strike as well. Are they on the Game Boy, though? I'm not sure. I think Jungle Strike is. I'm not sure about Urban Strike. Well, anyway, yeah, it's alright. If you can pick it up cheap enough, then, yeah, do. Cartridge only, which I'm absolutely gutted about. But Tetris, absolutely wonderful. In my opinion as well, it's the best version of Tetris. I wouldn't play Tetris on any other system, really, other than the Game Boy and the NES. I have played them on a few systems. The DS version's alright. It's not bad at all. But for me, the Game Boy one is Tetris. It's wonderful, and it's still my original. It's one of the games I didn't sell because it's peanuts. And that on the back is my Game Genie sticker with the codes on. I used to have a Game Genie. So that's a nice bit of nostalgia. It used to go, the Game Genie used to go into the Game Boy, and then the game would go in, so the back was facing you, that's why the stickers were on, and then you could just easily put the codes in. This is a wonderful, charming game. It's Bubble Ghost. I think it's going for around 10 quid in CEX at the minute, cartridge only. However, if it was boxed, it's a lot more. You know, upwards of 50 quid easy. And yeah, just for a bit of cardboard and some paper instructions. But it's a wonderful game, and the objective is you're a ghost and you've got to blow your bubble across the oh, that's a US version as well. You've got to blow your bubble across the screen and hope that it doesn't burst. There's a lot of obstacles you need to try and avoid, and yeah, it's fun and charming. It's a really nice game. Highly recommended. It's one of my favourites on the system. Next up is F1 Race, which is standard racer, not bad. I got this from Sawthumb Retros for 10 quid, I think, boxed. So why isn't... Oh, there we are, yeah. There it is, boxed. Now, they do a version where you... it's in a long box. I nearly bought it, actually. And it's got a 4-way multi-tap, so you can have 4 people playing in the same race, which is really cool. And it's not a bad racer at all. It plays well enough, you know. So we've got some really good games here now. Dr. Mario, which is a puzzle game, and you've just got to kill the viruses, germs, whatever, bacteria, with the same coloured pills. I think you've got to get 3 on top of the germs, so you're matching 4. It's like a Tetris game, essentially, but it's fun. I really enjoy this. Such a good game. Again, peanuts if you get cartridge only. So I haven't got Mario on the Game Boy. I used to have it, but it is so different to the other games, all the other Mario games. And I could talk about the differences all day. It is so different. In my opinion, it's good. I liked it, but it's not to everyone's taste, unfortunately. And when they released the second one, they upped the ante. They really did. And for me, this is probably... this is Super Mario Land 2 and the 6 Golden Coins. This is probably one of the best Mario games that's ever been released. I don't care what hate I get for that. It is brilliant. And they got the look of the game. They got the look of Mario. Because in the original Mario game, he looked very much like the Mario, you know, that you associate with Mario 1, the pixelated thing. This one, he looked like a Super Nintendo Mario. It looked so much better. The land that you're in, you've got loads of quirky different things. One of them, you're on the moon. There's another one where you're in a toy mechanical Mario, so there's different levels there. One of them being a Lego sort of level. It's just brilliant, absolutely fantastic. And if you've never played it, it's an absolute must. If you haven't got it on the Game Boy, you have to get it. And yeah, it's not a long game, unfortunately, but it's a really good one. And it was the first appearance of Wario in a Mario game. And that coincidentally led to Super Mario Land 3, which was Wario Land. So he went from the bad guy to... technically still a bad guy because he's after treasure, but again, they up the ante with it, and it is so much fun. There's so many different quirks in the game, and instead of having power-ups where you have like fire, and in Super Mario Land 2 you have like bunny ears that you use to float down and things. Well, Wario Land, you have different hats that you wear that give you different powers, and yeah, the objective is to go looking for different treasures and get as many as you can before you finish the game. But it is fun. Absolutely wonderful game. Get it. Next up is a conversion of DuckTales. Well, not conversion, a port, sorry, of DuckTales from the NES. Plays exactly the same. And they've done a really good job with it. It's really, really good what they've done with that. Everything about it plays well. It's not... that's the US version as well. I've never been to America. Anyway, so yeah, everything about it is just really, really well done. So if you're a fan of the NES one, that's a must as well. And I think that cost me £3. It's, again, not a lot of money. And finally, for the loose cartridges, is... I think there's 3 of these, and I'm pretty sure they're the same as the Super Nintendo ones. And that is enough to blow your mind, really. It is Donkey Kong Land. This is the first one. And the graphics they're so good. The art style is still very much the same as what you would see on the Super Nintendo, and that is mind-blowing. There's very little slowdown when you're playing, and my only criticism of the game would be that the backgrounds, it's too busy. They do rectify that in the later games, they don't put as much background in, but yeah, it's a fantastic game. Everything's there. You can still go on the Rana and collect the Kong, the different letters and things like that. It's that's the Super Game Boy pack. I've never played it on the Super Game Boy, so I don't know what to expect. I don't know if it plays better or if it's just the borders, but definitely worth a go. So let's have a look at my box games, and I've got quite a lot, really. One of them, no, two of them being my original ones from when I was a kid that I didn't sell. And all the rest I've picked up from on the cheap, really. There's only one game, which I'll go into. There's only one game that I've paid quite a substantial amount for, but all the rest are peanuts, really. The first one is one that I picked up from Doncaster recently. I got 2 games for £5, so this was £2.50 in effect, and it is Lamborghini American Challenge. It's a racing game, a racer. And graphically, again, it looks really good. It's It looks better than F1 Race. You can mod your Lamborghini, get different like engines, things like that. So there's enough in there for everyone, and it's made by Titus, believe it or not. The second one was Ferrari Grand Prix Challenge, and again, you can do pretty much everything that you can do in the Lamborghini one. And again, it's a racer, but it's more it's an F1 racer rather than like just a car racer. Next up then is a Game Boy Color game, and this is Pokemon Pinball. This is one that I didn't sell from my collection when I started collecting Pokemon and had to sell up. It's one that I wanted to keep because it was a gift off my mum. She purchased it off eBay for me. It's in wonderful condition. I'm not going to open any of these because with them being cardboard, I'm really cautious of them like ripping and things like that. However, I don't have the games in the boxes. I have them in a drawer so I can just get them and play them when needed. And this is one that features a rumble. So it's slightly different to, well, it's a lot different to the other games. And on the front, you have a battery slot there. And with a battery in there, it gives you a rumble feature. There was a few others as well, one of them being Perfect Dark, which is a Game Boy Color game as well. There was a couple of others which I can't remember at the moment. But yeah, if you like your pinball, this is alright, it's not bad. The only thing I don't like about it is once it goes up the screen, it's instead of moving with the ball, it sort of just cuts to it. It's a bit off-putting, but yeah, there's a lot of fun to be had with the game, and it's not the most expensive in the Pokemon library. So I think for the cartridge alone, you're going to struggle to find one with a battery case as well, the battery door. But yeah, around £5, it's not overly expensive. So next up is total shovelware off the Game Boy Color. I got it dead cheap, totally Angelica, totally not bothered. Gameplay in the corner, whatevs. Another one then for the Game Boy Color is Chicken Run. A bit better than the Rugrats game, but not a lot better. Still garbage. I'm sorry if you like it, but there's just nothing to get me excited, unfortunately. Gameplay in the corner. So next up is a wonderful game, and probably one of the best on the system, if not the best. It's recently seen a remake on the Switch, and it is The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. I can't praise this game enough. It's, for me, the second best Zelda game after A Link to the Past, and it's one that I grew up with it. I got stuck so many times, and you know, I must have been playing it for well over a year, maybe longer, and this is constant as well. I'm not just talking like an hour a day, I'm talking multiple hours a day. But every time I played it, I was in the Koalin Island, and I lived as Link. You know, I absolutely loved the game. The graphics are pretty much the same as the Link to the Past, very similar. The other thing is it featured a lot of characters from other Mario games as well. So you've got Goombas in there, well, Nintendo games as a whole. So you got Goombas in there, and I can't think of any others off the top of my head. But yeah, there's a lot of little like quirks to the game, and I can play this anytime. I might play it tonight, actually. Okay, next up is another port, and it is Adam's Family. And this is the NES version. Just a platformer. I prefer the SNES and the Mega Drive Adams Family game. I have done a review on that. If you haven't seen it, then look back. Never completed it either. Not the review, I mean the game. I never completed the game, but yeah, it's alright. It's not bad. It's nice having the collection. So I think I paid £15 for that. It's in lovely condition there, so no qualms with parting with 15 for that. Next up was a game that someone was selling on one of the Facebook groups, and I think he had an awful lot of them, and they appear to be water damaged. And it was only charging like a few quid for it. I think I paid £4 delivered, maybe 5. Might have been £4 and then £1 postage. But yeah, it's Sweet is High Flying Adventure. And it's alright. Again, it's a platform game. But other than the box being a bit like damp and things like that, the rest of the cartridge and the instructions are absolutely pristine, so it was worth it for that. I know the box is a bit, yeah, but it was well worth parting with the £4 for a game that was essentially brand new. Next up is a game that I've got a little story about. So it's a Game Boy Color game, and it is Pokemon Puzzle Challenge, and it is an absolute bugger to get boxed. It's not overly expensive, but try and get it boxed. It just seems to be one of the more difficult games to get. But so I had the PAL version. I don't think there was a UK one. I'm pretty sure it was just PAL, and we got the PAL one released in the UK. And when I was selling up, it was one that I didn't want to sell. And reason being is it was so difficult for me to get hold of. But I'd gone into cash converters one day, and there was free games, Game Boy games. I'll go through the other ones in a moment. I'll let you know when. In fact, I'll just look through and show you. But this was one of them. They were all $2.99. This is the US version, but it is real. I'm well trained in looking for reals and fakes, so I snapped their hand off, and then I sold my UK one because I was happy enough to keep hold of that. I needed the money, but I was happy enough to keep hold of that. So I gave someone a bit of a bargain. It was 30 quid, and I could have got about 40 for it, maybe a bit more on eBay, but so yeah, I've still got it boxed, thankfully, and I'm not bothered it's the US version. It, like I say, it's region free, it all plays, so absolutely fine. Okay, so I'll do 2 here. I'll try and go through it a bit quicker. So these are games that I got from Doncaster the last time I went. One's pool and the other one's soccer. One's a Game Boy Color game, the pool one, and soccer on the original Game Boy. I'm pretty sure they were 2 for a father as well. It might have been from the same stall, but just at different events. So yeah, the soccer games, yeah, and the pool games, yeah. But at least on the pool one, you can see what colour balls you're hitting. Okay, next up is Road Rash, which is not a bad conversion whatsoever. The only issue is you can't brake, I don't think. You've got to just take your finger off the acceleration. Because one's accelerate, one button's accelerate, and the other one is like punch. So yeah, you can't brake. I don't think. Maybe if you press up or something. I don't know, I'll have to have a look at that, but I couldn't seem to brake. Not that you really need to, but it's just handy if someone's got a baseball bat and they're trying to hit your head. So, yeah, a lot of fun. It is a good conversion. Next up is another platformer, and it is Tasmania. And the only difference with this is that you have spins where you're invincible, but you can only use that, I think, 3 times in a level. So, yeah, So many platform games back from the 90s. Another platform game is Star Wars, and this is so difficult. I have played it. It is a Super Game Boy pack as well, I believe. But I haven't got a SNES, so I haven't tried it. Yeah, the pictures are up there. You can go into one of the vehicles. I'm not a Star Wars fan, I do apologise. But yeah, I suppose that'll be fun. I've not really played it because I can't get past the first level. A game I got for £10 off, I think it was Dan Emblin at Doncaster, not Doncaster Gone, the one before that. And it is Donkey Kong Land 3. And it's in really nice condition, and this is probably my favourite. I have played number 2, but this is my favourite. It's the one that looks the best. Yeah, it's definitely worth picking up. The only issue with the box is a little bit of a tear there, but I can live with that. I'm not going mad with this. It's not like a completion sort of thing, so I'm happy with that. So this is an interesting one. This is Revenge of the Gator. If it'll focus. There we go. And this is a pinball game, believe it or not. Well, you can tell from the front anyway, but if I was to say Revenge of the Gator, you wouldn't guess pinball game. And it may look familiar to a lot of you because I believe they just reskinned the game for Kirby's Pinball. And when I look at it, I think, oh yeah, it does look a lot similar to Kirby's Pinball. So, yeah, interesting one. And it is from early in the Game Boy library catalogue. Bandai as well, Bandai game. But yeah, it's good. It's fun. If you like pinball, it's definitely one to get. And again, not overly expensive. This was a bargain. This was from Mark Ford at Doncaster when I got Donkey Kong Land as well. And this is Bart versus the Juggernauts. And it's a mini-game compilation where you're on a like gladiators type game, if you show, if you like. And this is in beautiful condition. It looks, the box is so glossy, it looks as though I've just unwrapped it. It's wonderful condition. So, really happy to get that for £10 off Mark. I really appreciate that, Mark. So, it's just a shame the game's shit. It is, I'm sorry, but it's crap. But it's lovely to have in the collection. From the same day as well, I got International Superstar Soccer 99 when I can pick it up. And that is a Game Boy Color game. And it is dreadful. It is so bad. You can see from the footage, it's worse than soccer. But I was just having a look through this guy's stall, and it was a bit later in the day, so he didn't have much left. I picked this up, not really bothered by it, but he goes, £2 that if you want it. Like, yeah, £2 I will. £2 for a box Game Boy game. I don't care what it is, so I snapped that up. Next up is an absolute classic, and it is golf. It's one of the many sports games that has Mario in it, and it plays really well, and it's more in depth than you think. It's not a crazy golf game, it is a full-fledged like golf, I won't say a simulator, but a game. But with Mario in it, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy this. I'm not a big golf fan, but this is good. Another platformer which didn't really grip me, but I think I paid $15 from the Doncaster market with the others, and that is Gremlins 2. Not much more to say about it. He plays Gizmo, and yeah, I don't know if it's a part of the one off the NES. It may be, but yeah, it's not overly great. I'm sorry, Kev. I know you're a big Gremlins fan, but it's average at best. There goes one sub. Alright, next up is a game that I won on eBay for, I think it was £8. It wasn't an awful lot. It's a Pokemon trading card game, and big Pokemon fan like myself, but I hate the trading card game. I just cannot get into it whatsoever. So this is a game that I haven't played that much. But I did notice that it comes with a trading card, and this one didn't. It did say that it didn't, so that's fine. But I have been on eBay to try and find it, and I did pick one up for... Oh no, I picked this up locally, someone was selling it, so I think I only paid a couple of quid for it. And it's Meow. Well, it's a promo card. Again, not too bothered by it, but it just sits nicely in the game. Now, I bought 2 games for a £5 off someone locally called Ben, who I know. One of them being tennis, and that is one of the classic sports games off the system as well. Mario is the umpire in this game, and it's fun. It's a really good game, and like tennis, golf, if you're just wanting to have a bit of a mess around before you go to sleep, these are the sort of games you want to be playing. They're fun and they're really well made. So the next game is Summer Olympic Games, or Olympic Summer Games, and this is the official licensed product for Atlanta 1996. So it's a compilation of games like hurdling and archery, stuff like that. I think pole vault or high jumps on there as well. But yeah, they usually go with the name. So usually this would have been Atlanta 1996, but it's not. It's just Olympic Summer Games. But it is the official release for that Olympic Games. Yeah, $2.50 because I bought the 2 together for a £5. So this was the other game that, or one of the other games that I saw in Cash Converters with Puzzle Challenge. This was $2.99 as well, and it is Pac-Man on the Game Boy Color. So you have a really good Pac-Man game on there. It's really colourful and nice. And the other game that you have on there is Pac-Panic, I believe. And it's like a Tetris game. And when you line up so many ghosts and you have a Pac-Man come down, then he'll eat them. It's alright, it's not too bad. It's certainly worth £3 anyway. And the other one is Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is another card game. This didn't have the instructions, but I have sourced them since, and yeah, it's all complete now. Game Boy Color game. Never going to get played. Another game I got, which was £5. I think this was off Dan as well, off Dan Emblin. He really did look after me that day. I haven't heard from him since, actually. Yeah, it's the Game Boy 5-in-1 gallery. And this is 5 mini-games, or should I say Game & Watch games. So it's got Ball, Vermin, Cement Factory, Manhole, and Flagman. They're not particularly great, but if you want to play the Game & Watch games, then it's a good way to experience them, seeing as the Game & Watch games go for a lot of money. A game I really don't care about, but it was cheap on eBay, is Chessmaster. It's in pretty good condition as well. Chess game, nothing more to add. Okay, last 3 games. One I got from Doncaster with the other ones, and that's Lemmings, which is a decent port. I still prefer to play Lemmings with a mouse. Amiga version was probably my favourite, but this is okay, and it's in decent-ish condition. Nothing spectacular. There's a bit of a bump at the bottom there, but if you can see that. So next up is a game that I had originally. I sold it when I was selling up, and it came back up for sale, so I snapped it back up. I had to, and I'll show you why in a moment. So that is Mortal Kombat 2. Now, it's just Mortal Kombat. There's nothing different about it. It's got a few less fighters in there, but you've still got a lot of features. You can use the environment as, like, for fatalities and stuff. And it introduced babalities on there and other bits. It's a really, really good part. they've done really good with this, and with the first Mortal Kombat on the Game Boy, it was absolute dross. It was so bad. It was so slow. It just wasn't fun whatsoever to play. It was like half the speed of what it should normally be. But yeah, reason I really wanted this back, or when I saw it, I mean, look at this. The instruction. Yeah. A lot of my games, what I had, were in fantastic condition, because usually I would just take the game out and put the boxes on the shelf. But some of them, it's got, I don't know if you can see, but it's got like drawings of the characters, and I always wanted to try and draw them. That's why some of them were in terrible states. But the reason I wanted this back is it had my cheat sheet, and yeah, when I saw that, I'm so glad the person I've sold it to didn't get rid of that. I was, how old would I have been? It was while I was at primary school, so I'd have been about 9, 10 when I wrote that. And finally is a game that I paid 30 quid for, but I've seen it in CEX for around 35 to 40, so I didn't overpay. And it is Gargoyles Quest. And this is a spin-off of Ghouls and Ghosts. You play as Firebrand, the goblin, and it's a platformer, but you can fly a little bit. Periodically you can fly, and it has no right to be as good as it is, considering it's a Game Boy game. It's really, really good. There's a degree of difficulty, like with most of the Game Boy games and games of that era, but it is a lot of fun. And if you can pick it up for cheap or just cartridge only, then do. It's really, really worth it. I'll complete that one day. And that's a collection. I really want to add more to it. There's a few games that I am after. The Final Fantasy games are really high on my hit list. And a few other games. I used to have quite a lot of rare ones. There was Bionic Commando, which goes for nearly 100 quid. That was a pretty decent game. Universal Soldier, which I believe is a reskin of another game. I can't remember. Is it Turrican? No, what am I on about? Nah, it escapes me now, but it is a reskin of a game. And I used to have Escape from Camp Deadly as well, which was a Simpsons game, which wasn't overly good. It's just got a lot of nostalgia for me. Oh, Kirby's Pinball, which I really, really liked, and Kirby's Dream Land. They're two other games that I really want. So, yeah, I don't know whether to go cartridge only. I am leaning towards that, but we'll see. And I just want to thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. It was great for me to go through it all again, especially the Mortal Kombat, finding my cheat sheet from when I was a kid. So, just little things like that mean an awful lot to me. And yeah, like I say, I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope I've inspired you to play Game Boy more. And if you are a big fan of Game Boy, then, write in the comments. I'll certainly have a chat with you and things like that. Any games you can suggest for me. And if you want any suggestions, I can let you know what I've played and what I like. So, yeah, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Obviously, there won't be any pickups videos for a while because of what's going on. So, I just want to say I hope you're keeping safe, and I'll see you very soon for another video.